Are you ready to go deep? Welcome to the Whole Being Zone. Discussions on the day-to-day ways we strive to play big and be whole. Welcome to episode 124 of the Whole Being Zone. This is Wendy Reese. And this is going to be a short and sweet episode. I've just been really thinking over the past several weeks and watching in my social media feeds and listening to conversations that are happening around me and listening to my own thoughts and feelings as I am listening to the news stories about our current political climate. And I feel that history may not be repeating, but as Mark Twain says, history often does rhyme. And I feel like we are at a time right now that something that started 50, 60 years ago is coming back for healing and closure. And I think it is important for all of us to be willing to be surprised, to be willing to be with whatever comes up within us in the moment and really, really be with it, not try to suppress it, not try to rationalize it, not try to make it go away, not try to make it wrong or right, but to really just be with it and explore it with curiosity and wonder so that maybe, just maybe, we could go to a deeper level within ourselves that allows us to go to a deeper level with each other. So I wanted to just kick this off with some definitions because there are some things that have really been chewing at me, if you will. And one of those is watching the divisiveness between people who were pro Donald Trump in the presidential election and the people who were against him. And the name calling that is happening and the acts of violence that are happening on both sides. And violence doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It can be any form of separation that is hurtful to another human being. And so I want to start with a very difficult definition because when I revisited this definition recently, it felt like a cosmic 2x4 upside the head because though I strive very much to be egalitarian and to be non-judgmental, I realized that I had become this word. And it hurt my heart because I recognized the truth. And that truth was not pretty in that moment. The word is bigot. A bigot is a person who is obstinately or intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices, especially one who regards or treats the members of a group with hatred or intolerance. Now, here's where this gets really sticky and where many people who may be listening to me are not going to like what they hear. For many people who do not support Donald Trump, they view him as a racist, misogynistic, narcissistic human being. And in that view, they often lump all of his supporters into those categories. And I think that is unfair. I think that when we lump them into those categories, we become bigots. When we look at other people who support him and say, I can't support you because you supported him, we take out the humanness And that's a problem because that brings us to a separation. And at the same time, I also recognize that there does need to be a line drawn in the sand about what we will and will not tolerate. Do we need to tolerate abuse and racism and bigotry? No would be the clear answer, yet how can we talk against it when we're being it? That's hypocritical. So I started thinking about tolerance. In the definition of tolerance, there are 4. Number 1, the capacity to endure pain or hardship, such as endurance, fortitude, stamina. Number 2, sympathy or indulgence for beliefs or practices differing from or conflicting with one's own, the act of allowing something. 3, the allowable deviation from a standard, especially the range of variation permitted in maintaining a specified dimension in machining a piece. Number 4, the capacity of the body to endure or become less responsive to a substance, or relative capacity of an organism to grow or thrive when subjected to an unfavorable environment. I think that last one is pretty important because there are many who feel that with this recent election, we have been subjected to an unfavorable environment, particularly if you are female, if you are not white, and if you're gay. You're not in a favorable environment at this time in our country. And that's a scary thing. It's a very, very scary thing. And I recognize that. Which takes me to my last definition, fortitude. Fortitude is the strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage. We need fortitude right now. We need to go inward and really, really do some self-exploration of what we value and why. Most of us don't really know. We have them, we have values. Oftentimes they are adopted from our family, religion, society, education, culture. But are they really ours? And when you sit down and say, why do I believe what I believe? Why do I believe I'm right and they're wrong? Where do those beliefs come from? What are they rooted in? How are they helping the world to grow? How is it helping someone else to heal? How is it helping myself to heal? And when we really start to explore those, often enough we find that they aren't helping growth. In fact, they're often limiting growth. And so you find yourself in a position of, well, if I don't believe that, then what do I believe? And that is an abyss many people do not want to take because it doesn't feel safe. It's not familiar. It's not comfortable. And if I go there and I find that, you know what, I'm not willing to put up with certain things in my life anymore because I know they are not right. Where does that leave the people in your life who don't believe the same as your new beliefs? And so it's easier to continue going with the flow of the river and hoping that it doesn't take you over a waterfall, over a cliff. I want to give you one more definition: respect. a relation or reference to a particular thing or situation, such as remarks having respect to an earlier plan. An act of giving particular attention, or a high or special regard. That last one is really tricky, because if somebody doesn't share the same values as you and they speak up against you, or you speak up against them because they don't share those values, oftentimes the feeling is disrespect. How can we express our values and our beliefs in a way that allows space for respect? That we can agree to disagree, or we have to find some middle ground together in order to be able to move forward. Martin Luther King Jr. once said in a sermon, "I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word." I think that the only way we can get to that unarmed truth and unconditional love is by turning inward and by exploring and going deeper and deeper and deeper into our soul to get to that truth and recognize that it's not always about being right. It's always about love. And love sometimes is soothing and soft. Sometimes love is fierce. But love is always love. And do we have to wait for somebody to be lovable before we offer that energy of love? The late John O'Donohue said in an interview with Krista Tippett on the show On Being, "What I love in this regard is my old friend Meister Eckhart, 14th century mystic, said, 'There is a place in the soul that neither time nor space nor no created thing can touch.'" And I really thought that was amazing. And if you cash it out, what it means is that your identity is not equivalent to your biography, and that there is a place in you where you have never been wounded, where there is still a sureness in you, where there is a seamlessness in you, and where there is a confidence and tranquility in you. And I think the intention of prayer and spirituality and love is now and again to visit that inner kind of sanctuary. What I would like to offer you is a meditation to take you into that place. If you are driving, or if you are in a place where you cannot do this, just listen. You don't have to close your eyes. You can just listen. And when you have time, I invite you to be still. Repeat the meditation and fully experience it. If you are able to at this time, close your eyes. Begin to just notice your breath moving in and out of your body. There's nothing to do or change or fix. It's just an observation of the miracle of your breath. Begin to turn your back on the world. Turn your back on all of the responsibilities, all of the expectations, all of the fears. And start to turn inward to this place inside you that neither time nor space nor no created thing can touch. Turn inward to this pristine place where you've never been wounded, where there's still a sureness in you, where your wisdom resides. This tranquil place. And as you turn inward, all of the layers, all of the veils that separate you from this place simply fall away. Everything that you've done or left undone no longer matters. In this place, you are exactly as you always have been. You are accepted. You matter. You are worthy. And you are loved. Breathe in and just be in the stillness of this place. This is your sanctuary. Allow yourself to notice, how do you feel? And even if you don't know how, are you willing to carry this current feeling with you throughout the rest of your day? Begin to notice your breath moving in and out of your body again. Slowly allow your eyes to open. Take a look around at where you are, coming back into the moment of now. This is your space. You can return here anytime you want. The challenge becomes, how do you start to bring more of this with you? How do you extend this part of you out into the world? That is where change starts, within. But it requires you to go there. It requires you to get still and to listen. And it requires all of us to be willing to disarm that desire to be right, and to listen and to love. I would love to hear what you think of this. Please leave a comment on the show note page, or you can email me, Wendy, Wendy, at wholebeinginc.com. Infinite love and gratitude. Until next time, be whole.